What's up, my friends? Welcome to Ride Review. Today we are checking out the OKAI Ranger. Now they also sometimes call this the EB50, but between you and me, I think Ranger is a much cooler name. Now this is a fat tire adventure bike. It's got some unique stylings on it too. I mean, the way they've got the headset up here, the way this kind of, you know, swivels and turns in here. Look at the headlight mounted up and it actually lights up on the side. Some fun stuff on here that I haven't seen on other electric bikes, which is always a nice breath of fresh air for me. Now this, I've been calling it a fat tire adventure bike rather than a utility bike, because this is how it comes, you know, by default when it's spec'd out here. You've got these big 26 by 4-inch fat tires, all terrain, nice and knobby. These can ride on anything, even sand and snow if you want to lower the air pressure down to around 5 psi. Now you do get fenders included by default. These are nice big full coverage plastic fenders, so you know, if you are riding in muddy terrain, riding in the rain, something like that, we're ready to go for that. Now it doesn't have a lot of utility out of the box. It does not come with a rack or basket, anything like that. Now you can get some from OKAI if you want to transform this into a little bit more of a, you know, utility adventure bike. Kind of similar, you know, up front here. This is fairly standard mounting point for front baskets. It's probably more common to have them right on the very front, but the side one will, you know, work as well. And OKAI does have accessories for basket, for the rear rack, if you want to add a little bit more utility in here. But as it comes out of the box, this thing is really, you know, more about adventure. Now the fat tires add a lot of just kind of cushion and sort of like a natural suspension on their own. There's just such a big volume of air in here. They provide some comfort, and you've got a suspension fork up on the front here. 80 millimeters of travel in this. I believe it is an RST fork, even though it is unbranded on the Ranger here. You can adjust the preload over here to, you can get that dialed in for your rider size. Now I will note that this, it does only come in one frame size. This is, you know, if you're looking at it right here, it definitely skews probably a little bit more towards the, you know, larger rider size. I'm 6 feet 3 inches tall, 190 pounds. I feel pretty at home on this. I can't quite extend my legs fully for pedaling, but you know, close enough that it feels pretty comfortable. Let's run through the bicycle components on here. Just to get that out of the way, we've got a Shimano Altus drivetrain. So this is pretty good quality here. Shimano Altus is their second level in terms of quality, whereas Tourney is kind of the, you know, the base level. We've got a high quality cassette back here. This has a decent enough range on this. I think we're looking at a 12 to 32 tooth, which again, this is a step up in quality. On a lot of entry-level electric bikes, you'll see a 14 to 28 tooth freewheel, which is not a good quality, not as good of range. So this is a nice step up. We got the slap guard on here so that if the chain bops down, it's not going to scratch up the chainstay back here. Double-sided bash guard on here. Keeps the chain on, keeps stuff from getting in the chain, like your pant legs. Always nice to see that. For braking, kind of a mixed story here. We've got nice big 180 millimeter rotors on here, but these are mechanical disc brakes. You can see the cable right here, and then you also typically get, you know, kind of bigger finger levers up here. So mechanical brakes just take more grip force to actuate those. So when you are, you know, squeezing on these, you got to kind of, you know, put some effort into it to get your maximum stopping power. And you do need to tighten up these cables every now and then. They stretch over time and your brakes start to feel a little bit loose. So a little bit more maintenance required than a hydraulic brake, but they still do provide pretty good stopping power, provided that the, you know, the extra grip force needed is not a problem for you. Let's talk about the electronics. I actually want to start with the lighting, because it's honestly one of my favorite features on this bike. Let's see, so there's 3 ways to turn it on, actually. So there's the little power button underneath here. You can use the key that comes with it, which is actually a little NFC key, and then this this can pop out to remove the battery. But just by itself, you can just boop, stick it on there, boom, fires up to life. You can use the power button on there too. You can pair your phone as an NFC key, or just turn it on through the paired app if you've got your smartphone set up for that. Now the lights, right? So we have a dedicated lights button, so we can just short press that, turns the lights on. This display is kind of hard to see, but I'm going to switch it back to the default, which is a white background and a lot easier to see outside when we look at the settings and stuff on there. But anyway, check out, so the side of the headlight right here is lit up, so you get that side visibility, and the side of the top bar right here also has, you know, these light strips on both sides. So when you're looking at the bike from the side, you have lights that stand out, you have the reflective stripes in the sidewall of the tires, very visible from the side. You know, even the white stripes on the frame here also help out with the visibility. And side visibility is one of the most important ones for, you know, avoiding collisions, not getting hit by a car when you're crossing an intersection, etc. Really appreciate that they went the kind of extra mile with that stuff. It's a nice bright headlight too, great coverage. It's positioned high up, which means it's easier for vehicle drivers to see it than if it's, you know, kind of lower down on the fork. No tail light, unfortunately, which I would like to see, but you can add a third-party one pretty easy. You know, there's this nice bar back here that you can clip it onto. Okay, now let's run through the rest of the electronics. I really like how OKAI does their electronics because they're very like intuitive, simple to use. There's not a lot of complexity or fluff in there. But the display I picked is definitely hard to see in the daylight. So let me pull up their app on my phone here. Okay, so this is their smartphone app. It's very well done, clean, polished, easy to use. So I'm gonna change, where did I go in here to change that? I think it was in setting right here. No, it's not in there. Well, now, of course, I said that it's working so well, and now it's gonna sit here and get all confused on me. Let's kill that. We'll come back in and start over. Here we go. Give us a little chime to let us know that we are connected. Look at that. It just disappeared. Internal server error. It seems I spoke too quickly about the app. It was working great when I was back at my house, but now that I'm out here and not on Wi-Fi, I don't know, I have, you know, full bars of 5G, but now the app is not letting me get in to actually access the settings and change the display back or anything, which is interesting. So it seems like the app actually requires like a network connection, I assume, to OKAI's servers, even just to get in and change the bike settings. So no, that's not a great feature. that's definitely kind of a bummer, because, you know, what if you're riding somewhere without service? When the app does work, it works very well. You can change your pedal assist level, you can change your units, you can customize your screen. So I have it on this kind of dark mode one right here, and it is like, I mean, check this out. It's a touch screen. I can swipe down from the top. I'm gonna change it in right here to, let's do that one. And confirm. Okay, there we go, much better. So, you know, now we can actually see this in the daytime. So, you know, that helps out, that since the app is not working right now, we can just kind of, you know, do everything in right here. So again, swipe down, you can change your gear selection. We're not even at maximum brightness either. Let's crank that up. What else? You can enable your battery lock. Mine's already turned on. The ambient light, riding records, vehicle information. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oops, let's put that back up to 1. There's a lot of stuff in here, and it's really nice to be able to just interact with it via the touchscreen instead of having to, you know, fiddle with the buttons on the display pad and having like a cryptic menu. Pretty well polished here. And then, you know, you do have the app, at least when that works. So you can also change your pedal assist levels. You know, it's at level 1 right there. You can use the plus and minus here to go all the way up to 2 or 3. And then if you are going down, we can go all the way down to walk mode. And then, you know, if we use the throttle in this mode, nothing happens. So it's maybe a little bit misleading, honestly. You know, typically when you're in walk mode on a bike, then the throttle will just activate it at a walking speed so that you don't have to push the bike. What happens if we go up to 0 and hit the throttle? Let's see. Woo! Full throttle. Okay. So the way OKAI does it is we get full throttle at 0, and then, you know, walk mode is just no throttle. I wonder if we can still hold down minus and then get a standard walk mode. Anything? Nope. Okay. Interesting. So that'd be a nice feature for them to add, is when you have it in walk mode, hit the throttle and have it just, you know, move the bike at like a few miles per hour. Should be pretty easy for them to add with a firmware update, especially because you can't update the firmware from the app that you have paired with your bike. Something else worth mentioning about the display that I like is having it kind of integrated into the headset here. helps to protect it from damage. You know, if your display is mounted up on the handlebars, it sticks up, it can get bumped by like tree branches or something, or maybe other bikes when you're at the bike rack. This keeps it kind of out of the way right here, still pretty easy to see. So I think they did a nice job with that. And then the battery is mounted in the down tube down here. You can charge it while it's on the bike, or you can remove it if you want using the key that is included. Here's a quick third-person perspective of the Ranger, if you are wondering about, you know, the fit for it. It does only come in one size. I am 6 feet 3 inches tall. I have the seat all the way up at the maximum height. Just cranked around. So with the seat at the maximum height, can't quite fully extend my legs, but it's close enough. Feels pretty good. It's a sort of a forward seating position here. You know, it's not too far forward to be aggressive. I think it feels pretty good, but it's definitely not like a, you know, upright cruiser one. This is a little bit more active, you know, a little bit more adventure riding friendly. Okay, we're gonna jump on and do some riding. Before we do, quick rundown on the electronics here. The battery that's in the down tube is about 714 watt hours, which is pretty decent. You know, not the biggest out there, but it's what I would still consider high capacity. And we are using a firmware hub motor back here, 750 watts, peaking at right about 1,000 watts. And now this is activated either by the throttle on the left grip or by a cadence sensor, which is in the bottom bracket down here. This is actually it right there. This is a, what you'd call a sealed cadence sensor. So there's a ring of 12 magnets inside here that are fully sealed, so you're not going to lose them, weather's not going to damage them. And it's a cadence sensor, which means it measures just revolutions of the pedals going around. It doesn't care how hard you press on the pedals. That's what you would call a torque sensor. So this one's a little bit more basic. Some people prefer torque sensors, probably even most people, because they're a bit more dynamic and responsive. But some people do like a cadence sensor like this, because you don't have to press hard on the pedals to activate the motor. It's going to especially be attractive for people who have, you know, maybe had a knee injury, or you're just getting older, so your knees don't like you pushing hard on bike pedals. This alleviates that. You can pedal lightly, get the power, and you know, if you want exercise, you can turn it down or turn it off and have that as well. Okay, let's jump on here. We're in 0, so we're going to bump that on up to level 1 and go for a cruise. The electronics on this bike are pretty peppy. I think we might actually start off with just showing you the throttle, because it's really got a lot of zip to it. And I also like how they have it configured on here where the throttle is not linked to the pedal assist level. So no matter what level you're in, you know, we're in level 1 right now, but we could be all the way up in level 3 or in level 1, the throttle works the same. Take full throttle override in any assist level. That's the best way to do it, less fiddling with the controls. So we got it in level 1. We're gonna start off from a dead stop here and just hit the throttle and take off. And I mean, look at this thing go. We're already at 15 miles per hour, 17, 18, 19, 20, boom. 21, 22, 23, 24. We are just cruising. Now, you'll notice the throttle did not cut off at 20 miles per hour, which is what most electric bikes are supposed to do. That's kind of the standard legal throttle operation in most states. You can restrict it down to that in the settings on the Ranger, which, you know, I thought that I had it restricted, but maybe not. Let's see. I don't know if we can do it in the, yeah, I don't think we can do it in the basic settings here. So if you want to limit your throttle to only 20 miles per hour, you can do that through the app. Okay, let's go through the pedal assist options here. We'll do some more throttle testing, especially on the hill up here in just a bit. But for now, the pedal assist. Now I am in pedal assist level 1, and I'm pedaling very lightly right now. Like, I'm hardly putting any pressure on the pedals, but we are slowly picking up speed. We're up to 14 miles per hour already. Look how like stable the cockpit is. This is a very easy bike to ride no-handed on. The level 1 assist is honestly pretty peppy. Like, this is more peppy than the level 1 that you get on most electric bikes. And we're already, now we're up to 16 miles per hour, and I'm really not putting a lot of pressure on here. I'm just kind of lightly cycling my feet around. Continuing to just pedal lightly, I'm just going to bump this up to level 2. The motor has kicked up. I'm still just lightly, lightly cycling and getting to go even faster. Let's just keep going here. Let's bump it on up here to level 3. I'm gonna have to shift into a harder pedaling gear here. We're actually going up a bit of a hill right now, and I'm still not doing a lot of work here. I'm just kind of lightly pedaling. We're all the way up in the highest gear on the pedaling drivetrain. There's 20 miles per hour. Let's see what kind of top speed we can do here. Speed run here in level 3. Look how fast we are taking off when I start pedaling in level 3. Now we're already up to 20 miles per hour. Oh. Too much traffic over here. All right, here we go. Got a nice straight stretch. We're just gonna see what we can do speed-wise. Still in assist level 3. There is 25 miles per hour, 26. We're running out of road again. Pretty easy to get up to 28 and cruise there, I think. We just gotta find a good enough straightaway that we can really put it to the test. I said this about the stability. I love how rock solid stable this thing feels. I think it'll do very well, like off-roading, trail riding kinds of scenarios. Here is a look at that riding position here. So forward, but not too aggressive. I prefer this stance because it just feels like the classic bicycle stance, as opposed to some fat tire bikes where you kind of have this more like upright, cruisery riding feeling. This one's just a little bit more aggressive. Now, since it's a cadence sensor for pedal assist, just keep in mind this does mean it's going to have a little bit of a delay when you're starting and stopping. So you'll have to cycle the pedals around, maybe a revolution or two before it kicks in. And then when you stop, there's also just like a little bit of a delay on the outside of it here. So I'll show you that. The motor is fairly loud, so you should be able to hear the difference. It's still in level 3, so I'm just gonna start pedaling. Go. Oh, there we go. We only have to pedal about a half time there. That's pretty good. So having just that little bit of a delay, and also the consistent power, where it's just steady power as long as I'm pedaling, not responding to the amount of pressure. That's how a cadence sensor performs. So if you want something more dynamic, maybe try something with the torque sensor. But a lot of people do actually kind of prefer the simplicity of the cadence setup. So get in and test ride one would really be my biggest advice. OKAI's got lots of dealers all over the place, so hopefully there's one near you. All right, we're gonna do some more throttle only riding, and we're going to put it to the test on a hill. So we've got a pretty long hill here. It's not an extremely steep incline. We don't really have extreme hills where I live, but this one's a pretty good one. It's not a lot of fun to ride up without electric power. We're gonna do this only on the throttle, and we're kind of at the start of the hill here already, so we're kind of starting at a disadvantage. Let's just hit it and see what we can do. Strong start. We're already up here to 10 miles per hour. It's slower than it was before, but it's really not struggling with this hill at all. We're still accelerating up. We're at 14 miles per hour now, 15, and we are at the top of the hill. So no problem climbing the hill, and we're not even at full battery either. We're down at 70%, but you get your best performance at the highest, at 100%. It's just the nature of lithium-ion batteries. Let's do another one here. We're on flat terrain now, no more hill. Hit the throttle. Boom. I'm curious to see how fast we can actually get going when we are using only the throttle while the bike is apparently unlocked. We're up to 23 now, 26, and well, we gotta stop now. Okay, let's do it again. We're gonna see. I'm curious if it cuts off at 28 or if it can go even beyond that. Well, we're kind of just cruising steady at 25. We're on a little bit of an uphill right here. There's 26. Lost a couple. I don't think we'd be able to break 28 unless we're going a little bit downhill. So let's turn around and try that. One last try for the top speed run on the throttle. Okay, there's 26, 27. 29, and we drop back down to 28. Okay, so we hit 29 miles per hour. So it seems like the throttle is just kind of fully unlocked, and it's really the limitation is the power of the motor itself. Whoa, that was weird. It kind of kicked forward on its own a little bit there. Yeah, so it seems like the throttle is fully unlocked. If you're concerned about, you know, truly being street legal on this, you probably want to go into your app settings, limit the throttle to 20 miles per hour, just to be on the safe side. But you know, having it unlocked like this can be a lot of fun, especially if you are, you know, you're riding off-road, maybe on private property or a Jeep trail or something like that. The bike feels amazing at speed. I mean, it's comfortable at any speed, you know, even if you are, you know, going a bit more slowly, riding around town where it's smooth. But then once you start, you know, hitting some bumps and stuff, even at high speed, it feels great. Big fat tires, the suspension fork up here, the geometry of the bike as well, you know, having the, it's not quite a true high step. You might call this kind of like almost a mixed-D, because this does bend down right here. It gives it a little bit more of an approachable standover height, but then you get that bonus of having the top bar and the bottom bar. You have a bigger triangle here, a more sturdy frame that gives you more stability at speed. When you have a step-through frame, sometimes they get something called frame flex, where you get going fast, you kind of have this wobble delay to the bike's handling. Doesn't feel great. Don't have that problem here. You know, we even have the locking grips on here. So this thing is ready to hit the trails and have a lot of fun doing it. Okay, my friends, thank you for coming along on this review of the OKAI Ranger, also known as the OKAI EB50. Fat tire, adventure bike. Love the lighting, having the ambient lighting on the sides, the cutout on the side of the headlight there, reflective striping. They really nailed it in terms of visibility. Very high performance too. Like, this thing feels zippier on the throttle than a lot of the other fat tire e-bikes that I've ridden recently. I like the elegance of having just like, you know, just the 3 display modes, being able to customize the display, the touchscreen on there too. Very nice. You know, drawbacks to kind of consider. It does have mechanical brakes instead of hydraulic, so, you know, decent stopping power, but could be better and requires more maintenance. It's a cadence sensor down here, so not as dynamic or responsive as a torque sensor, but you know, that is still kind of a matter of personal preference. So you know, overall, I think it's a pretty solid bike, and especially since they've dropped the price on it now down to just $1,600 for like a good entry-level fat tire adventure bike that comes from a brand that has a whole lot of dealers. Pretty compelling, if you ask me. Okay, guys, now, if you got questions on this review, check out the comment section below. Ask away. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And then you know the drill. Ride safe out there. Catch you in the next one.